Everyone was watching. The fairy lights twinkled above us like stars caught in a net. The champagne glasses clinked in the background. A soft instrumental version of our favorite song played. He smiled like nothing could ever go wrong. And then he got down on one knee. I heard someone gasp. My mom covered her mouth in excitement. Claire clutched her chest beside me. People raised their phones, recording, capturing what was supposed to be the happiest moment of my life. But I didn't smile. I didn't cry. I said, calmly, "No." At first, no one moved. Maybe they thought I was joking. Maybe they thought I was overwhelmed. Derek looked up at me, confused, still holding the ring. I said no, I repeated, louder this time. Then came the collective inhale. The awkward shuffle of heels on tile. Someone let out a nervous laugh. I could hear the air conditioner humming above us, a strange white noise cutting through the silence. My heart didn't race. It had already shattered last night. I turned and walked away, heels clicking like punctuation against the floor. Behind me, people started whispering. I didn't need to hear what they said. I already knew. They didn't understand. But I wasn't walking away from a proposal. I was walking away from a performance. A lie. A man who looked me in the eyes and promised me forever, while he was still tangled in someone else's bed sheets. I didn't say no because I didn't love him. I said no because I knew what he did the night before. My hands were still shaking when I watched the video. Derek's laugh. His voice. The way he grabbed her waist like he'd done to me 1,000 times before. The camera angle shifted, and I saw the face I never expected. Claire. My best friend. My stomach dropped. I rewound it 3 times just to be sure I wasn't hallucinating. But it was real. It was her. It wasn't just the cheating that broke me. It was who it was with. The 2 people I trusted most in the world, the man I was going to marry and the woman I called my sister, had torn my world apart. So, no. I didn't cry when he proposed. I didn't scream or throw the ring or make a dramatic scene. I said one word. And I meant every syllable. No. Derek and I had been together for 3 years. He was the guy you'd want your parents to meet, charming, successful, the kind who made grand gestures feel effortless. Everyone adored him. He made people feel seen, heard, wanted. And for a long time, he made me feel like I was the only woman in the world. We were that couple. Matching tattoos on our wrists, tiny paper planes. We got drunk one night in Lisbon. Sunrise hikes, anniversary dinners, weekends in wine country. Our Instagram told a story most people envied. And maybe for a while, I did too. I used to joke that Derek didn't just love me, he curated our relationship like an art gallery. Everything felt intentional. And even though he hadn't proposed yet, the way he spoke about our future made it feel like a sure thing. A someday wrapped in gold ribbon. Then there was Claire. Claire and I had been best friends since college. The kind of best friends who finish each other's sentences, who've seen each other through every heartbreak, every job loss, every bad haircut and breakdown. She was my person. My maid of honor, if I'd ever made it to the altar. She knew everything about me. Which is why the betrayal cut so deep. It started subtly. Derek grew more distant in the weeks leading up to the proposal. I noticed him leaving early and coming home late, giving vague excuses about client dinners and gym sessions. But then he'd come home with roses, or a necklace I'd once mentioned in passing months ago. Overcompensation is a red flag, but I told myself not to overthink. He was probably planning a surprise. Maybe even a proposal. God, I wish I had been right. The night before the party, I was getting my nails done when I got a message from Jake, our group's lovable disaster. He always partied too hard, said the wrong thing, lived without filters. Jake had never messaged me privately before. Jake, I didn't know who else to send this to. I think you need to see it. There was a video. My fingers hesitated above the screen. I tapped play. First, laughter. Muffled voices. Hotel bedding. A man's voice, Derek's. Then, a woman's voice. Familiar. Too familiar. The camera tilted. Her hair. Her eyes. That tattoo on her shoulder. Claire. I paused the video. Rewound it. Watched again. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a maybe. It was them. In a hotel room. Together. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stared at the screen, the walls of my perfect life crashing silently around me. And I knew. Tomorrow, he would propose. But I wouldn't say yes. I sat on the floor of my apartment, knees pulled to my chest, phone still in hand. The video played again on a loop, like some cruel glitch in my life that refused to stop. Their laughter. The way he pulled her into him. The moan that made my stomach twist. I wasn't crying. I couldn't. My face felt frozen. My chest hollow. Every part of me was filled with static, like I was outside my own body, watching it happen to someone else. Then my phone buzzed again. Jake, I didn't know if I should show you. But you deserve to know. I stared at that message. Deserve. What a word. What did I deserve? Certainly not this. Not the humiliation. Not the betrayal by the two people I trusted most. Still, I didn't respond. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't eat the next day. But I got dressed. A silky pale pink dress Claire helped me pick out 2 weeks ago. She said it made me glow. Now it felt like wearing a lie. I arrived at the proposal venue, Derek's parents' garden, dressed like a Pinterest board brought to life. Fairy lights draped from trees. Candles floated in shallow water bowls. A violinist warmed up by the fountain. Guests were already inside, glasses of champagne in hand. I stood alone outside, staring at the glowing setup like it was a movie set. My legs shook. But I wasn't nervous. I was ready. I walked in. The music changed. Everyone turned. Derek stood under the archway of roses, wearing the same suit he wore on our first date. Claire was standing beside him, smiling like nothing happened. Like she hadn't just destroyed my life with him behind my back. Her smile widened as she caught my eye, and in that moment, I saw it. A flicker of guilt, so fast, it might have been nothing. But it was there. She knew. Everyone stepped aside, the crowd parting like the sea. Derek reached into his jacket pocket. He got down on one knee. Hailey, he said, his voice full of fake nerves and perfect rehearsal, you're the love of my life. Will you marry me? The room held its breath. And so did I. For just a second, I imagined saying yes, pretending this never happened. Saving face. Smiling for the photos. But that second passed. My voice didn't tremble. It didn't shake. I looked him dead in the eye and said, no. The moment I said no, the room cracked. At first, it was just gasps. Then someone dropped a glass. It shattered, sharp, sudden, like a punctuation mark on my sentence. Murmurs turned into whispers, and whispers turned into stunned silence. Claire's face drained of color. Derek was frozen on one knee, blinking like he'd misheard me. Like maybe this was a joke and the punchline hadn't landed yet. I turned and walked out, back stiff, heart pounding, but not with fear. This was the part I'd rehearsed. The heavy oak doors closed behind me, muffling the chaos inside. I didn't have to look back to know Claire was panicking. She'd built her image just like Derek, perfect, supportive, trustworthy. A flawless friend. And now it was unraveling. The door slammed open. "Hailey." Derek called after me, voice sharp and desperate. What the hell is going on? I turned slowly. For once, I had the upper hand. The calm in me scared even myself. I held up my phone and hit play. His voice. Her giggle. Sheets rustling. Breathing. The camera tilted just enough for both their faces to appear. Derek's mouth dropped open. Where did you get that? Does it matter? I said, watching his panic grow. It's you. And Claire. He stumbled over words. Listen, I was drunk. I didn't even mean for that to happen. It was a mistake. Claire burst out the doors seconds later, heels clicking, voice trembling with pretend concern. "Hailey, what's happening?" "Why are you?" I laughed. Not the kind of laugh that sounds joyful. No, it was bitter. Hollow. Like the echo of everything they'd hollowed out in me. "Don't worry, Claire," I said, eyes flicking between them. "I'm not going to make a scene." They both froze. I stepped closer. That was the scene. They didn't get it at first. But I had planned this. Every step. Every word. Because if he was going to betray me in the most public way possible, on one knee, in front of everyone who loved us, then I would destroy that illusion just as publicly. I wasn't going to throw drinks or scream or claw at Claire's face. That's what they expected. What would have made me look unhinged. But I wasn't broken. I was focused. Last night, when I got that video, I made a decision. I wouldn't let them control the narrative. I would. A few days after the proposal, Claire tried to call me. Twice. Then came the text. "Please, Hailey. I didn't mean to hurt you. It was a mistake. Can we talk?" I didn't respond. Not because I didn't have anything to say. But because she had no idea how much I already knew. What she and Derek did that night in the hotel wasn't a one-time thing. That was just the piece that broke the illusion. But the cracks had been there for months. And I had quietly followed them. It started with receipts, literal ones. Derek's card was linked to our shared grocery app, and I noticed hotel charges that didn't match his stories. One said, "Spa package," on a weekend I'd been out of town. Claire had borrowed my laptop once and forgotten to log out of her email. I didn't go looking, but I saw enough in her inbox to realize something wasn't right. Conversations with a startup investor we hadn't even pitched to yet. Attachments that looked eerily like the pitch deck I'd created, alone. Then the final piece, a GPS tracking tag that had been tucked into my dog's collar. She gave it to me as a safety gift after my car was broken into. I found it when I was changing my dog's leash one day. The device was synced to an email address I didn't recognize at first. It was Derek's. They weren't just sneaking around. They were watching me. Tracking me. Profiting off me. I spent 2 weeks collecting everything. Screenshots, financials, forwarded emails, voice memos, timestamps. Jake even helped me pull metadata from the video he sent, proof of the location and date. The night before the proposal, after I watched the video, I didn't just decide to say no. I decided to end them. Before heading to the party, I sent a folder labeled Truth to our board of investors, with a short message: "You deserve to know who you're in business with." By 10 a.m. the next morning, Claire was removed from the startup. By noon, Derek was trending on Twitter. Someone, maybe Jake, leaked the video and photos. He lost a lucrative endorsement deal with a men's skincare brand that prided itself on integrity and trust. I didn't gloat. I didn't speak. I just watched. People think revenge is loud, shouting, breaking things, dramatic exits. But silence. Silence leaves room for echoes. And theirs were deafening. It's been 3 weeks. The proposal that never was is now a story whispered behind screens and coffee cups. People still talk, online, in our old friend group, even in the startup world. Some say I humiliated Derek. Some say I overreacted. A few even say I ruined my own engagement. But here's what they never ask. Why do we expect women to protect the men who betray us? Why is it my no that caused the shock, not his lies, or her betrayal? I didn't destroy anything. I just refused to keep pretending. I'm sitting now in my new apartment, bare walls, mismatched furniture, a half-built IKEA shelf leaning against the corner. It's nothing like the sleek, curated life I used to live with Derek. And yet, it feels more like home than anywhere I've ever been. There's freedom in starting over. In repainting walls, not to impress someone, but because you want to. In hanging photos of places you've actually loved, not just places that looked good online. Claire hasn't reached out again. Derek tried once. Left a voicemail, can we at least talk? But there's nothing left to say. Because I never wanted revenge. Not really. What I wanted was clarity. Truth. Peace. And I got all three the moment I chose myself. That ring, the one he pulled from his pocket so confidently, thinking it would fix everything, it's still sitting in its velvet box. Untouched. I think about selling it sometimes. But then I realize, it's a perfect symbol. Of what was fake. Of what looked beautiful on the outside, but was empty inside. Closure isn't always quiet. Sometimes, it looks like a diamond ring still in its box. Sometimes, it sounds like one word, spoken clearly, without apology. No. Not because I didn't love him. But because I finally loved myself more. And now, I get to build something real. Not for an audience. Not for a proposal. But for me. So here's my question, for anyone watching, would you have said yes, just to save face? Or would you have walked away, too?